Greetings, friends. This is Bryan Hudson. Welcome to another edition of Conversations in Focus program and podcast. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. Also available on YouTube. So please subscribe and follow us. When episodes come out, you'll get notification of that. My guest today is Kareem Hines. He is the president, mentor at B.O.Y, which stands for a new breed of youth. Kareem is originally from Harlem, New York, and has consistently demonstrated a profound passion for youth development throughout his life. Kareem's journey began when he relocated at the age of 19 to our city, Indianapolis, where he initially worked as a swimming instructor and youth director for the YMCA. It soon became apparent that his work was not just a career, but his calling, one that would shape his life's purpose. As an adult, Kareem transitioned into the financial sector, assuming roles as a broker and a financial specialist. This career path would lead him to establish a pioneering financial literacy program tailored for teenage boys, named New Breed of Youth. This name draws inspiration from his childhood karate class and marks the inception of what we now know as B.O.Y, again, New Breed of Youth mentoring program. Kareem's upbringing in Harlem, his diverse life experiences, his unwavering commitment to volunteerism, and his unique perspective as being raised by a single father has equipped him with a comprehensive toolkit of skills and resources. New Breed of Youth offers multifaceted programs including mentoring, family assistance, sports, karate, boxing, financial literacy education, etiquette, and access to inspirational role models. Kareem serves young men, and in particular those involved with the juvenile justice system and Department of Child Services. His leadership has garnered media attention and recognition for his programs with Gun Down and Gloves Up boxing. Beyond his professional pursuits, Kareem is a devoted son, husband, father, brother, one who is deeply committed to the betterment of our community. Every day, he diligently works to create positive change, leaving an indelible mark on the lives of countless young individuals, showcasing that Indiana holds more opportunities beyond the streets. Let me also share that Kareem's wife, Crystal, leads a mentoring program for girls called Inner Beauty Program. You'll see on the screen and throughout the program a link to the website for Kareem Hines' program, New Breed for Boys. I encourage you to support this man of God. He's been doing this work for 30 plus years, not just one and done events, but working with our youth week in and week out, month in, month out, in, year out. After this brief break, I'll come back for my conversation with Mr. Kareem Hines. Welcome back. This is Bryan Hudson. Welcome to Conversations in Focus. And I'm looking forward to this conversation with Kareem Hines, who is the founder, the president, and mentor at New Breed of Youth, or B.O.Y. And I appreciate what I've researched about this brother, and I just appreciate the work he's doing, he and his wife. So I want to welcome again to our program, Kareem Hines. Welcome, Kareem.
Welcome. Thank you, Pastor.
Good to have you.
Hello, Indianapolis.
Sir, yes, sir. Let me start with this question. I'm always curious to find out what motivated you to start this organization and to serve young men and young women.
I was a young person in the streets of Harlem, Pastor, and I was looking for direction, and I got introduced to the Harlem YMCA. I started karate at the Harlem YMCA at the age of 6. The name of my karate class was called the New Breed of Youth Martial Arts Program. I wouldn't be sitting here in this seat. I wouldn't be in Indianapolis without my karate instructor, Lamar Thornton in New York City. The Harlem YMCA, the New Breed of Youth Martial Arts Program, made Kareem Hines. Mm-hmm. So when I got the opportunity to start a mentoring program, I understood what impacted me in a profound way, and that's martial arts. Okay. So I wanted to create, like my instructor wanted to create, a new breed of youth. And I was used to working with young men who were not system involved. I was involved in a program called Boys to Men under the direction of Dr. Lars Roscoe. And we work with kids from the Pike Township area who just needed to be better prepared in 8th grade to get to high school. So as I started working with these young men, some of them came from 2-parent homes, structured environments, but they were knuckleheads and they just needed a little bit of guidance. Through that opportunity, I was afforded the opportunity to start working with young men who were system involved. So I started working with young men who were on juvenile probation. I started working with young men who were referred to our program at Boys to Men that were under the supervision of DCS, the Department of Child Services, because they were victims of neglect within their home, within their own families. So as I started working with these system involved young men, I started bringing them around the young men who were not system involved. What I found pretty quickly was those two groups of young men were dealing with two totally separate issues, two totally separate sets of issues. Their pain was different. Their trauma was different. Their daily lives were different. So as I started commingling them, what I found out really quickly was these kids need their own space. These kids need their own space. They need their own voice. They need brave advocacy. And I look back onto when I came up in New York City and what motivated and inspired me, and it was new breed of youth. So I thought in my mind, I want to create a new breed of youth.
Yes.
I want to reframe in these kids' minds what their goals look like, what their future looks like. So I thought about it. New Boy kind of pops. That name is really catchy. And that's how I came up. So I wanted to continue that vision. It is a legacy, and I'm hoping that legacy will continue, not only through me, but through my kids.
Kareem, how did being raised in Harlem, New York, inform your work with boys here in the Midwest?
Man, that's a great question. I don't think I've ever been asked that question. It's a good question. I think I'll tell you this: pain travels, trauma travels. So I don't care if it was a young man in Chicago, a young man in LA, Indiana, New York. You put them in a room together, and I'm talking black and brown young men. You put them in a room together. Other than their accent, you couldn't tell where they came from. Other than their accent. And if you started asking them about the trials and tribulations and some of the challenges that they're facing within their lives, it would be a consistent narrative. Low income neighborhoods, crime, poverty, maybe single parent homes, some of them being raised from by their grandmothers, aunties, dad, present but not present within the home. So me coming up in that environment in New York City, when I came to Indiana, I saw young people going through the same thing I was going through.
That's good.
Different vernacular, different accents. Same pain. Same trauma. Same undiagnosed trauma. Same aspirations. A lot of them wanted to get out. A lot of them don't want to be in their current environments. I was able to get out. So the fact that I was able to get out of my situation, I'm here in Indiana, I was able to give some young men that I came in contact with some hope. And then my mentor, I came to Indianapolis because of my mentor I met at the Harlem YMCA. I had an active dad in my life, but my relationship with my mentor was different. Damon Donaldson, who's no longer here, he moved me from Harlem, New York, to Indianapolis, Indiana. We lived at the Fall Creek YMCA, 860 West 10th Street. We lived together in the YMCA. So I knew early the power of a transformational relationship. I knew that. And I wanted to inspire the masses beyond just inspiring one young man. So I wanted to take what Damon taught me and some of my other mentors, but Damon specifically because he uprooted me from New York and Indiana. I don't care if he would have took me to Chicago, LA, Baltimore. I would have did the same thing. So it doesn't matter. Like I said, trauma travels, pain travels, and God put me someplace, and I knew if I could inspire or be inspired in New York, I could provide that same inspiration here in Indianapolis, Indiana.
That's good to know. Sometimes we have a misconception. We will stereotype regions of our country or regions or even classifications of people and youth. But the aspirations, the desires are the same. The gifts, the grace, it's the same. Available to all young people.
I think you stereotype from afar. Immerse yourself. And kind of goes back to that old adage, you can't judge me until you walk a mile in my shoes. I think we have to stop those stereotypes that rhetoric from afar, or now not even from afar, from behind his keyboard.
It's lazy.
It's lazy.
It's laziness. You know, I did a master's program in education and curriculum design.
Yes.
And we would go through these statistics, and I thought this doesn't sound right to me. And so I realized that, okay, now who's your sample? Because, you know, we throw stats around as if they actually speak to reality. They do not speak to reality.
Right.
Get to know people.
Yeah.
That stat going around 1 in 4 or 5 black men are in trouble.
Right.
I count in search terms, say 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, who's in trouble? Right. None of you.
Right.
So stats, I know stats can have a purpose in a big picture, but the bottom line is you got to sit down and meet people, walk with people, get to know people. Have you found it to be true in your work? The stats?
Yeah. Data drives decisions.
Yes.
Data drives funding. And I am a fan of quantitative data, quantitative work, and factual type things, but I'm a bigger fan of qualitative.
Yes.
The work has to be quality.
Yes.
You know, and you don't find out the qualitative parts of a program or organization unless you immerse yourself.
Right.
You don't find the qualitative parts of a person.
Yes.
Until you immerse yourself with them.
Immerse yourself.
And these kids. And we talked about it earlier. We see a lot of data being thrown at us, especially with the advent of social media and the pervasiveness now, with the news. These kids are numbers.
Yes.
These kids are statistics until you get to know the person.
Yes.
I dare you to know the person. I dare you. Double dare, triple dare.
Yes.
See a kid at a gas station, he's standing outside of a gas station,
right.
You're automatically thinking quantitative. I bet you he's a troublemaker. I bet you he's looking to rob somebody.
That's terrible.
He got the shicey ski mask on or whatever. I dare you when you walk past him.
Yeah.
Hello, young man, how you doing? You know, you need anything? Now, he might tell you he needs a Swisher or something out that gas station,
right.
But at least you open the conversation up.
Yes.
Now, what do you do? Kind of like when you open Pandora's box. Now, what do you do? One thing for us to be trauma informed. I dare you to become trauma responsive.
That's good.
So we know what these kids are going through. Yeah, we're all trauma informed. We know what these families are going through. Not a lot of us here in Indianapolis are trauma responsive. Because once we open Pandora's box, okay, now what do I do?
It takes more work now.
It takes more work. So what do? We get back and start doing that. Get off this keyboard warriors in Indianapolis.
I heard a youth worker in L.A.
Yes.
Latino brother who did some doctorate work, earned a doctorate, and he actually changed my mind about something. He changed the phrase we use. We use the phrase at risk a lot.
Yes.
He uses the phrase at promise. I love that. And the mindset's important, isn't it?
That's another cliche statement that people use and kind of ran with. But I know adults, but we're all at risk.
Yes.
So you can't paint us with a wide brush.
Right.
But what happens, like you said, there's a subset of kids who were labeled at risk. The kids that were coming up in low-income communities, the kids who were being suspended from school, the kids that were being ushered into the school or prison pipeline.
Yeah.
We're all at risk. But I love at promise because promise needs to be cultivated, needs to be nurtured. If it's easy to label a person as at risk,
right?
Now they're just there.
Yeah.
Now the person has promised what you're going to do to cultivate and nurture that promise.
That was his idea. Was concept for him. It wasn't so much that they needed classification,
right?
But that the worker's mindset had to be adjusted.
Without a doubt.
To see children a certain way.
Yes. Yeah. I agree. Fully agree.
We spoke earlier about that you, in your career, you were on a path toward doing financial brokerage. You were doing financial specialist.
Yes.
Essentially Wall Street level type things. And then now you transitioned to young people and doing literacy programs, financial literacy programs, young people. Talk to me again about that transition.
It was a transition. You know, sometimes when you're working with young people, I know the opportunities were, it's not a lot of money, you know, sometimes in working with young people. It's a passion that some of us have. So we would do it for free if we could. So when I was working at the YMCA and I was doing some mentoring with Boys to Men, really wasn't getting paid. So I had to find a way to get paid. I've always had a liking or an affinity for money, you know, coming from New York, you know, the movie Paid in Full. That was my thing. I like money. So I got an opportunity to work for Charles Schwab as a broker. So I was able to take my Series 7, my Series 63, got those licenses, and I went to work with Charles Schwab. And it was during a time in the 2000s at the height of the market. There was a need for more financial specialists. So I got an opportunity to work for Charles Schwab, and here I am, 9 to 5, doing the corporate thing. And I found myself during the day in between taking calls with clients of trying to create a program because I wanted to get back into mentoring full time. I wanted to get back into the school systems. So what I did was I created a financial literacy program that focused on saving and investing. So I would come in, I would talk to the kids about saving and investing. I would create stock market teams. I would add a financial incentive. We would do a challenge within the classroom, and I would teach kids how to read the stock market. I would teach kids what the ticker symbols was and how to follow a company and do research. Then after that 45 minutes, I would get them into the box and then the martial arts. I brought my pads with me. So as I'm walking through the school and I got my pads, kids like, oh, I want to do that. Yeah. Great. Before you do that, I need your attention. Focus here. So I would start off at the core of what the difference was between saving and investing. I started talking to them about Nike and how you can go buy a pair of $200 Nike sneakers or you can own Nike for $150 a share. Right. Then I started talking about dividends and the money that they would make and how their investment would help grow their money. We talk about principal and all that. It just became beautiful watching them gravitate towards a financial piece. Yes. But they were doing that because I got their attention with the boxing and the martial arts piece. So I started combining the two. Schools loved it. I started getting into a few different schools, and those relationships I created at the schools opened up even more opportunity for me now to start community-based mentoring. So I got to a point where I was able to quit or maybe fired from my job at Charles Schwab because my focus was just on these kids. It's one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life.
Yeah. I was thinking as you were sharing that, how as a youth worker, I appreciate that your focus isn't only the current age level, but recognizing, 5 years, 6 years from now, you'll be an adult. And to give them those skills. Financial skills are so key.
Yes.
Because obviously people look back, they get older and like, what happened? Where did I go wrong? Well, you should have laid a good foundation.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that you're giving young people, at teenage age, a foundation of financial literacy. That is so key.
It's crazy. One way I get the kids' attention is I tell them, you don't need money to walk into a car dealership and come out with a Porsche.
Yes.
You can walk into a car dealership with no money and come out with the car of your dreams. How? Something called credit. Credit. C-R-E-D-I-T. Credit. So now start talking to them about how to build credit.
Yes.
How the integrity, pay your bills on time. But again, the key to get their attention was, how do I get that Porsche with no money? But I got their attention for about 20 or 30 minutes. Yeah. And then I went in and I just started reframing and reconfiguring. So it was a beautiful time.
Kareem, what are just a few misconceptions that people generally have about young men, young Black men in particular?
You just need a few?
Just a few.
Oh man, some of the misconceptions about young Black men. One, they lack self-respect and respect for others. They don't care about education. Another misconception is young Black and brown men are prone to violence or crime. One of the biggest ones, I think, misconceptions is young Black men only aspire to careers in sports and entertainment. I think those are 3 or 4 misconceptions about young Black men that each of them, we could have their own, or we could have a Zoom call or a podcast interview on the misconceptions and the reality of all of those misconceptions. Because putting that misconception out there about, young Black and brown men, I think it takes the focus off the adults that are in those young men's lives. And sometimes the failure of these young men. And I call it the game. I challenge everybody out here, if you are able to put out a misconception or feed into a misconception about young Black and brown men, I dare you that every young Black and brown young man, or every young man that you interact with, you give him the game. Let me give you my acronym for game. G is guidance. Every young person you come in contact with, give them some guidance. A is attention. Every young person you come in contact with, for a moment, give them your undivided attention. M, motivation. I dare you that every young person you come in contact with, I challenge you to motivate them. I challenge you to get them excited about something. Motivate them. And then the E, educate them. Educate them. Don't blow them off just because they come up to you with a hoodie on, or now they're the shiesty mask, or their pants might be below their behinds. Our young men need motivation. They need to be inspired. And if we don't do it in a positive way, I guarantee you there's some people out there in the streets that are trying to do it. If we don't do it, the other side of that is we're feeding our young men to the streets. Ask yourself that. We're feeding them to the streets by feeding into those misconceptions. Young Black men are creative. Young Black men are smart. They're resilient, but they don't have vision. And they don't have vision because we're not exposing them to things. Exposure equals vision. Structure and consistency and accountability can equal success. And it can change the mind of a young person. I ask you, what are you doing?
We understand the role of data and understanding, how data can point us in a direction. But to your point you just made, until we connect with young people, we're really victims of our misconceptions and really victims of even though stats tell a picture, but stats can't define the person you're looking at at the moment.
Right.
And so let's finish up here talking about why we want to connect with young people and not just be content to stand off afar and make these judgments and misconceptions. Why do we need to connect, and how can we better connect?
One, I think we need to connect with young people because our perceptions of young people in today's culture is being driven by the data. It's being driven by the news stories we see. It's being driven by some of the social media posts, whether it be Instagram, TikTok. And a lot of that is geared towards the violence. And a lot of that is geared towards this algorithm that makes you think that young Black and brown young men have a propensity to commit violent crimes and kill each other. But more often than not, they are a victim of circumstance.
Yes.
They are a victim of circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to survive in the midst of chaos. So a lot of the misconceptions that we put out there, what we don't ask ourselves is, some of this is self-preservation. These young men are trying to survive. These young men are trying to survive. And if we focus on not only establishing not just a connection, a robust connection. It's one thing to say, hey, man, brother, how you doing, man? Hey, keep your head up, man. Hey, go to school. Hey, pick your pants up. It's a whole nother conversation. Give that young man your phone number. Especially if you see him 2 or 3 times in the same location. Give him your phone number. I'm not saying give him your address. Give him your phone number. Man, how can we connect, man? What can I do? Not to help you, but to support you.
Yes.
What can I do? And I think we got to start understanding that these young people, man, they're just trying to navigate this world and this environment just like us.
Yes.
Without the right tools. And they're just trying to survive in these communities. They're trying to survive in these school systems where the teachers are just trying to survive. Kids are not being inspired anymore.
Yes.
There's so much focus on the academic piece. There's not a lot of focus on the social emotional piece and the relationship building piece. But a kid will tell you, a kid does not care about what you know until they know that you care.
Yes.
Think about that. They don't care about what teachers know. They don't care about what the community knows or the OGs know until they know that you care. How do you show a young person that you care? And I'm not talking about the young people that you know are already on their way to college and graduate high school. I'm talking about that young person that if you were walking down the same street with them and you look at them from afar, those myths that you hear about will drive you or motivate you to cross the street. Or if you're a woman, clutch your purse. Or if you're a man, clutch your gun. That's what I'm talking about. We need to connect with those young people. They're the ones that need inspiration the most, but they're the ones that we fear the most. And if we're going to inspire the kids, we have to start providing resources for parents. And I will tell you another myth is, Black people are lazy. These kids are lazy. Black and brown young people or people in general are some of the most resilient people you will ever meet. You just got to get to know them. Got to get to know them. They tell us all the time, but just tie your boots up. Pick your boots up and keep it moving. Some of us don't have boots.
Right.
Some of us don't have sneakers. And I don't mean that in a practical sense. I'm saying that metaphorically.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, there's a lack of resources
Yes.
in these communities. There's a lack of resources in these schools. You know, we're underfunded.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and not only in the schools, but in our communities. And there's a lack of investment. We're not making intentional and purposeful investments in our kids.
Yes.
You know, we're giving them crumbs, and we're expecting them to, like we talked about earlier, reach their full potential.
Yeah.
Some of the cities that we're seeing that with the data, the quantitative data matches the qualitative, you know, progress, is we see an intentional investment of these cities in these kids. Intentional, not, hey, let's give 25 or 30 programs $100,000 a piece. No, vet some of these programs, these organizations, vet 4 or 5, give them some millions.
Yes.
Give them some millions so they can invest in these kids even more. Take the restrictions off of some of this funding with vetted organizations.
Yes.
And watch the magic happen.
Brother, you said that's a whole word right there, because without the investment that's commensurate to the need,
yes,
we end up in a condition where Frederick Douglass famously said, he said, "You degrade us and ask us why we are degraded." He said that in 18 something. It's not that we don't have some means, just that we need more to do more, you know.
Correct.
And I appreciate organizations that recognize that as well. All right, Kareem, I read this as part of your mission purpose statement. New Boy motivates youth and families to look beyond their current circumstances. It encourages them to have faith and passion that transcends normal and empowers them to greatness. How important is it to look beyond the current circumstance? What does that mean?
It's vital. Like I said, we work with a lot of system-involved kids. So when they come into our program, when we're first exposed to them, they're in a situation. You know, kid is on probation for whatever it may be, a gun charge, a domestic battery charge, where they put their hands on someone within their own home, a robbery charge, drug charge. I mean, they come with baggage. A young person comes from a DCS referral. Their family is in a situation where the state is now supervising them and directing them. And sometimes those kids, the parents have lost their rights, you know, to their kids. So they already are embedded in a circumstance. It's my job, it's the mentor's job with the New Boy, is to have them look beyond that circumstance. You can't focus, especially on what you can't control. You know, you're in that situation. The one thing you cannot change is yesterday and tomorrow. So let's deal with what you're dealing with right now. Now let's look beyond. Let's make a plan. Let's make a plan. But before I can do that, I have to establish a relationship with them. I have to establish some sort of trust. In order for them to see that vision, they have to start trusting me. So we have these programs, we have these activities, we have these community events that are focused on youth empowerment.
Yeah.
And I think if we can get a young person to understand that the situation you're in today does not have to be the situation you're in tomorrow, but it starts with decision making. And they need wins. They need wins. And a lot of times the wins that they need are not big wins. I don't need you to graduate from high school tomorrow. I don't need you to even go to school every day. Just go today.
Yes.
I don't need you to get A's and B's in school. Just go to class.
Yes.
Just go to class. Do me a favor. If you want to do what you want to do after school and you want to vape and smoke, okay, do it after school. Don't do it in school.
Right.
So small wins. Small wins. Do me a favor. Don't let your mom carry any trash out to that dumpster or to that garbage can. You empty the trash. Take the trash out. You know, make your bed up in the morning. You know, wash a dish at home. I'm just talking small wins. So when I see them the next day, I can say, hey, man, I heard you wash those dishes for mom last night. Heard you took the trash out. That's a win.
Yes.
That's a win.
Yes.
And the more wins that they can start stacking up, now maybe they see beyond their current circumstance because they believe, man, I can do it. But I think we get so lost in kids. We want kids to reach their full potential. We talked about it earlier. You know, it goes to that Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that model where we want a kid to reach his full potential, self-actualization. But there's some physiological needs that need to be met on this bottom round. Kids need that. Yes, they need food, they need shelter, they need clothing. That's just the base level.
Yes.
What about safety and security? What about an intimate connection with somebody? What about somebody to build self-esteem? So we want kids to reach their full potential. We want them to stop this inappropriate, self-destructive behavior, but who's there? Who's there to walk alongside them while they build to that? So I think we have unrealistic expectations of some of our kids, especially system-involved kids, because if they don't reach their full potential and they don't start making good decisions or being in compliance with what the state says, then they are labeled as uncompliant or non-compliant, which now will put you in an even worse situation than you are.
Now, if you could, think about parents,
Yeah.
maybe watching this, maybe youth workers, maybe educators, and who are grappling with how do I better serve young people? And this concept of them helping them move beyond the circumstance. The things you're saying are powerful.
Yeah.
Encourage a parent or a youth worker or educator who's watching this and wondering, how can I better serve?
I think right now, one mistake we're making, youth workers, one, have a lot of people busting their behinds to change the circumstances of our city with our young people. But one thing I think we're missing the mark on is really immersing ourselves in the lives of these kids. When I say immersing ourselves in the lives of these kids, understand the music that they're listening to. You might not have to like it, but understand the music they're listening to. Understand the messages that social media are giving them about guns and violence and conflict resolution. Understand how right now we're living in a culture where clout is the new currency. Kids are really not even focused on making money anymore. They want clout. So how do you immerse yourself in that world so you can have a conversation with a kid, but not a conversation that should be directed by you, that's directed by them? A culturally relevant conversation. When I say culturally relevant meaning you got to come down to their level. You got to be unconventional in your approach. So you might have to do some things that you don't like. Maybe I like jazz, maybe I like R&B, but I got to get into this rap. And I'm not talking about the rap that we hear on our local radio stations. I'm talking about that underground rap, what the kids call gangster music or drill music. You might not like it, but if you can immerse yourself in that world and at least understand it, now those hard to reach kids, you now have a common ground with them. And you might mention a rapper that they don't even know you listen to or would not have even thought you listened to. But at least that opens their door a little bit more. Now you can have a conversation and now you're in. What you do when you're in, it's up to you. But we have to start finding, I think, unconventional approaches that might not align with our values, that might not align with how we came up and what we agree with. But right now, we got to stop being selfish because it is not about us right now. It is about these young people. Stop making it about you and make it about them.
Let's talk about programs.
Yeah.
That you're doing. I noticed that you have programs ongoing and seasonal programs like Guns Down, Gloves Up.
Yes.
Talk about those programs. Youth boxing. Talk about those programs. Talk to the people about those programs.
New B.O.Y is a mentoring program that focuses. We're intentional and we're purposeful about engaging young people in programs that help us establish a connection. So we have a year-round youth program format, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So we have a sports program. We have a young entrepreneurs program. We have a boxing program. We have a martial arts program. We have a tutoring program. We have school-based mentoring. We go into the schools and try to promote our community-based program, but also to inspire young people in schools. We have a recording studio. We are all about advocating and amplifying the youth voice. We have a podcast, a youth-led podcast called Chestnut Checkers that focuses on decision-making and helping these young people put them in a position where they can talk about issues that are relevant to them to hopefully reach other young people. We want that to become infectious. And we feel like if we can surround these young people and keep them active throughout the week, start to change their mindset about what it feels like to be young in this culture. A lot of kids right now, they're just existing. They're not living. We have some young people that we're burying at 14 and 15 years old. So I think having that year-round program format allows us the consistency to stay involved. Then once we wrap these kids with all these programs, now we're bringing the families in through community events. We're bringing the families in through events that focus on putting these young people on a pedestal. So now you can come out and see your son, your daughter, or your nephew or your grandson in a position where, like we talked about earlier, he can celebrate a win.
Yes.
So we take college tours. We think exposure is huge with our young people. So every month we're going on some sort of field trip, whether it's in-state or out-of-state. We want to put people on college, young people on college campuses. We want them to know the difference between the HBCU versus the PWI. And we're not admonishing PWIs, but I think exposing the kids to those colleges helps them understand and helps shape their decision making.
Yes.
So to put them on a college campus, to show them what college is, to show them what the experience is like on the college campus is huge. The same conversation I can have with a kid on 30th or 38th and Post, if I can have that conversation with him on a charter bus and we're headed to Disney, or a charter bus or we're headed to Memphis, Tennessee, they'll receive it differently because they're not in their normal environment.
Yes.
So a lot of the noise that normally distracts them, we take them away from distractions.
Yes.
And these are incentive-based field trips. So the kids have to earn these field trips. And a lot of times I think New Boy there's a misconception that all we do is sports with our young people. No. But that misconception comes from people who don't aspire to learn about what we do, which is why I appreciate you, providing this platform, because all we want to do is create awareness. We do not only work with system-involved kids. New Boy works with any young person between the ages of 6 and 18 that want to be involved, that want to be around a pro-social environment, that want to be inspired, that want some guidance, that want to be educated. And not only do we work with the young people, we work with the parents, moms, dads, grandmoms. I'm fortunate enough to have a wife that has the Inner Beauty Mentoring Program that she founded over 25 years ago. So we get a chance to see what these young ladies are dealing with also. And that's another issue I think we have in this city, where we are diminishing the effect that these young ladies are having on these young men.
Right.
I think the young men take the spotlight a lot.
I've heard that data supports that programs and funding tend to go toward the boys and not the girls.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
But again, I think if you don't immerse yourself in their world, if you're not intentional about learning the challenges that these young ladies are going through, then of course you go to where the data is pushing you to. But I get it through the Inner Beauty Mentoring Program that my wife, Crystal Hines, founded. I get to see the challenges that these young ladies have. I get to see the relationships, sometimes, a lot of times, the unhealthy relationships between these young people. And they have a whole underground culture that if you're not privy to, you'll never know it's happening. So I think a lot more of the spotlight and attention should be placed, on these young ladies, because the young men wouldn't do 90% of the things they do without trying to get the attention of those young ladies. Without a doubt.
I've been speaking with Kareem Hines of New Boy, which stands for New Breed of Youth. And this conversation has been so enlightening. You've seen on the screen photographs, there are links to video clips and things that he is doing, his wife is doing. We're going to close the conversation just by asking Kareem, you want to share anything else with our viewers and listeners as we close out this conversation?
I definitely want to share something that I probably have never said on camera before. Sometimes I think we believe as a community that when people come from outside of our community, that they can't have the same passion, that they can't have the same motivation and same love for the people of that community because they weren't born and raised in that community. I get that a lot. Well, he's from New York City. He wasn't born in the land. He wasn't born in 2G, or he didn't come from Fort Deuce. But those are the neighborhoods that I have been traversing, picking kids up, mentoring kids, providing support for youth and families for over 35 years in this city. I'm here. I was born and raised in New York, but Indianapolis made me a man. So I challenge some of the people who were born and raised here. Step your game up. Step your game up. And I love this city. I love the people of this city. I love the youth of this city just as much as you do. And just because I wasn't born in this city doesn't take away the passion and the drive that I have to change this city.
That's good. Amen. Well, thank you, Kareem, for this time.
Thank you.
Appreciate your work.
Thank you.
And he and your wife, who are doing great work. Wife's name again?
Crystal Hines. My wife's name is Crystal Hines. Shout out to the Inner Beauty Mentoring Program. And I thank God for her because there is no time that we don't unpack, on each other. And this work is hard. There's people that are immersed and entrenched in this work. It is a blessing that God provided me with the opportunity to have a queen who is doing the same work. And we just empower, we motivate, we nurture, and we love on each other. And I think that gives us the motivation and the continued inspiration to love on these kids.
Well, thank you, sir. And I met Brother Kareem through Anthony Beverly, matter of fact. Anthony is our guy. He's the one who's connecting all of us in this purpose of helping and saving our youth. So again, thank you, Kareem. Continue, sir, to do the work.
No, Pastor.
Please support this man of God and let's get behind him and let's support the work. Some of us can't go. Yeah. We can support someone who's there and doing the work.
Yes, sir.
So, sir, thank you so much. Yeah. God bless you. Thank you for watching Conversations in Focus, available on podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. So join us next time for another great program. But again, thank you, Kareem. This is special.
Peace, Andy.
All right, appreciate you. God bless y'all.